cover, why don't you tell me your current situation and then what your desired situation is?
About the chat or
Yeah,
the
what you want to cover today.
the link you sent was for the VP of hardware engineering.
Yep.
So I fell into the trap again. Again. uh, yeah, I got it. So the VP of hardware engineering, I took the bullet points off of there, then I posted it on the responsibilities, then on the right side, Nouman's qualifications, then I just went there and put my own experiences that I had throughout my undergraduate career within my internships and senior design project. And
okay,
then
well, so let's do that. So what we're talking about is the situation here at hand is there's a senior person at a company and they have this authority to hire you, right? Or be influential because they're a global head of something. All right, fine. There may or may not be a role available for you, but they need some reason to advocate for you, and they want to have a reason to advocate for you. So they're asking you to basically do a little homework for them to make it easy. So what you've done is you've put together a document under my guidance, which is basically a set of bullet points, which answer the question, what's your value proposition to the firm? And so the way that we answer that value proposition to the firm is really simple. We give them what they say they want. What we've been able to do is identify a document out there on the internet which does that. Sometimes it's in a job description, sometimes not, but I think we've got a nice document we found earlier, which is this search for the head of hardware engineering for this firm. Now, it could be a different firm. It could be for an investment bank. I mean, it doesn't really matter specifically, but we've got this document, which is kind of nice. And so essentially, we can identify through this long job description, right, what they care about. They care about, and these are some things to talk about, right? Revenue, understand their revenue guidance. Come to this question, first of all, as a side note, which you haven't prepared yet, come to this discussion with this head with some good questions.
Good questions about the firm itself. So
Yeah.
like what they do and like what their core values are and like what revenue they make or who their competitors are.
Find out what their revenue was in 2019. Revenue guidance was. Revenue guidance for 2019 was 1.3 billion. What did it actually turn out to be? And what was the gap and why? Or questions like that. So, hey, I noticed your revenue guidance for 2019 at one point was 1.3 billion. And then it ended up, well, if it was low or if it went down a lot, then maybe don't mention that. What's your revenue guidance for currently for 2020? And where do you think some of the bright spots will be? Where do you hope revenue to grow the most this year? How does your team, what's the executive's title? Global head
He's
of
a senior vice president for global fulfillment.
Right. So global fulfillment, that's supply chain stuff. What are some innovations that you are bringing into global fulfillment this year that will help you do your job better? How does the hardware and engineering team interact with the global fulfillment teams? Maybe not directly, but find out. So some questions, come with those kinds of questions. So what we've done here is we put together a document based on this, which is good. And now let's take a look at that. Could you please send me I'll let you share your screen and you share with me the document that you put together.
Sure. I don't know if we can share both of the screens. Hold on. I'm just pulling it up now.
Okay. So this is a document which I would, I think is great. I think at the top, it's a document you sent, which is fine. I think in the future, what I would do is I would have your name and your contact information at the top. Do you have that there, or did you not get?
No, I can resend it to him with that. I don't know if that's a good
Don't do
idea.
it now. In the future, just that'll be more of a better touch. If employed in Finera as a manufacturing, hardware development, or quality engineer, comma, not period. Okay, you need to be really careful about these things. Okay, these are the areas. I mean, this is actually, these are area. These are areas. So what I want you to do is make sure that you are drafting this stuff and then running it through a grammar check. These are areas where I could add value. Okay. I would send this again to him. I would put your title in the top, just like you do at the top of a resume. And then with these corrections, hey, I want to resend the document that I had sent earlier today. Please use this document. Okay. Don't make the edits now. Just do it later. Okay. Let's just use our time. And let's go down through it. Requirements. I would, instead of saying requirements, that's not in our Facebook post earlier, I said use proposed value or value proposition. Value proposition. Just, yeah, that's fine. Just make it value proposition. Great. Let's take a look at that. Value proposition. Propositions. Just make it just value proposition. Be fine. Assist in supporting best-in-class hardware and firmware development principles, processes. I would just get rid of methods and practices. And make it, because it seems a bit too formal at that point. So process and metrics. So, and then assist in supporting best-in-class hardware and firmware development principles, processes, period. Processes, period. And then after processes, write period. And then add, and then write apply instead of and, apply metrics. Which highlight, apply metrics which highlight.
So just remove this line then?
Yep. Which highlight. No too many spaces next to which, remove one space. Which highlight high quality and customer satisfaction, fine. And then over here on your right-hand side, assisted in supporting best-in-class principles, methods, and metrics within a structure. I'd be more specific. You know, I supported Schlumberger to achieve $20 million reduction, and go back and use that bullet point. Okay, go back and change that to the one you had.
For Schlumberger, I never did the $20 million in saving. That was for Baker Hughes. This was.
That's fine. Use that bullet point. Don't make it less. This is fairly. You could have 2 bullet points, right? This is one, and then.
I'm just putting a note to myself.
Add bullet point for Baker Hughes. And then with the oil drilling assets for Schlumberger, what was that about?
So the oil drilling assets, I can pull up my resume. It was delivering 9% annual savings for.
Just copy and paste bullet points, my friend. This is the same thing. This wasn't designed. I didn't intend for you to have to create new bullet points at all. Just literally copy and paste the bullet points from your resume.
All right.
Okay. Grow, next point, grow the hardware, firmware team, leadership capabilities. No. Support. Support the hardware, firmware team. Don't remove leadership capabilities. Support the hardware, firmware team with the best consistent, that's fine. And then next bullet point next to that would be supported the research team, supported leadership at UIC as a surface dynamics researcher. That's fine. Empowering teammates and developing situation awareness at UIC. Fine. That's fine. Yeah, awareness, period, or not, depending on how you're formatting for consistency. Next bullet point, develop a tightly integrated and cooperative working relationship with suppliers, customers, and NPI team. So make this develop, get rid of tightly, develop integrated. I just say develop cooperative, forget integrated, develop cooperative, get rid of the A, develop cooperative. Then develop cooperative working relationship with, and then just get rid of both. Just add this with suppliers, customers, and NPI team. Suppliers, customers, and NPI team, because he knows what that is. And NPI team. And yeah, get rid of the and NPI, no the, and NPI team. Remove within manufacturing to optimize time to market with high quality, fine. Secured, that's fine. Fine. Develop and track key product and process metrics to measure ongoing performance and support. I would say, instead of you developing, tracking key product and process metrics, say support teams to develop, or support teams to track. Develop and track is fine too. To track key development and process metrics to measure ongoing performance and support improve, fine. Develop and track key product proc.
Those processes.
Yeah, I would say, when you're creating documents to send to people out, and email them, spend some time on them. Make sure that they are grammatically correct and the spelling is all proper. Developed and tracked key process and project metrics by using Gantt chart for seniors design, for senior, not seniors. You're not going to get hired if you keep shooting yourself in the foot with spelling and you're never going to find a job. Supported continuous improvement using DMAIC and fishbone diagram, fine. And I would just, in the end, I want to be part of that, just remove that.
Or remove what?
In the end, I propose to help Infinera. I propose to, in some, you might say, in some, not in the end, in some, comma, I propose to support Infinera to support. I propose to support. Get rid of the B. Yeah. Infinera to redefine optical networks and network architecture by empowering operators and accelerating operators, comma, get rid of while, just write comma. Accelerate innovation and I propose to support Infinera to redefine optical networks and network architecture by empowering operators, accelerating innovation, and automating network operations. And then why don't you sign off? If you're writing this as a letter like this, which is okay, you might just write sincerely, Nouman Khalid. Okay, that's fine. I say that looks good. Very good. So go back and just refine that and then send it off. And then the email simply just says, Dear Mr. Henley, please use this document. Updated, the subject is updated document for discussion this afternoon. And then the email simply says, Dear Mr. Henley, please find an updated document for our discussion. Please use this instead of the prior one, period. Thank you, Nouman. Look forward to speaking. Thank you, Nouman. Okay.
Thank you, Stuart. I had another question as well. So I think, I have an interview next Monday with ICU Medical for their quality engineer one supply chain role.
Mm-hmm.
So what I decided to do was on Monday, I had a talk with, because I sent out the LinkedIn connection request to a couple of quality engineers at the entry level, but they didn't respond. But this one was a new project development. I can't remember at the top of my head, but she started off as quality engineering at ICU Medical.
Mm-hmm.
So she pretty much gave me some insights as to like the interview and told me that on the job description, there's terms that you should know, like such as non-conformance and CAPA processes, then know about internal and external audits. She told us who does our internal and external audits. That was BTI and FDA.
Okay.
The other thing she told us was be familiar with the codes like 21 CFR. Don't go into too much detail of it. They don't expect you to know at that point, but just know that those are FDA codes that we have to follow and regulate. She gave me insights to that. So my plan was to also go and watch the networking videos that you had on your Career Accelerator program back and just to re-jog my memory. Is there anything else you would suggest as well?
That's fine. There's nothing better that I suggest than what the recruiter is telling you from their inside knowledge and information about what to focus on. Just make sure you make a thorough study of those things so that you can speak them out loud as to what those things are.
Well, this wasn't the recruiter. It was an engineer that I connected with through on LinkedIn.
Yeah, fine. Anybody internally who's telling you what's relevant, just take their advice.
Sure. But the problem is, I don't think I should go into too much technical details. Like, I think I should also focus on like what the company's core values are, who their customer is, what their product line is, and.
Sure, of course, absolutely. But if they have, have a 1 or 2 sentence description, maybe at most, for each of those things that the engineer recommended you be aware of.
All right. Yeah, I'll type a Word document with some of this information and just post it on the Facebook group over the weekend to get your feedback on it.
Cool.
One last question is, these days I've kind of felt guilty that, I don't know, because I feel like I've been networking a lot, but I haven't been applying as much to job applications.
Keep applying.
Okay.
Get more efficient at it. Spend a full 8 hours a day on your job search.
I see.
It's your full-time job now.
Yeah, you're right.
Not time to watch Netflix or hang out. It's time to get hired. So use a full 8-hour day. Plan it out.
All right. Yeah, I think that's what I wanted to. Those were all my questions I wanted to ask.
Cool. Well, good work.
Thanks. I'll see you on the call tomorrow.
All right. And
I have a call with Ryan scheduled to talk about our engineering portfolios. Just
fantastic. Make sure you post that in the Facebook group. Say, hey, Ryan, look, just as a little shout out to Ryan in the group, just to get people, show that energy is there. Okay.
All right. Yeah, I'll do it after our call.
Thank you. See ya.
See ya.
Good job.
Definitely.
Cool. All right. See you later. Thanks.
Yeah. Bye.